This podcast features adults using adult language. Also, we are doing this primarily for fun. We have no intention to make any money off of it, and we're not sponsored by Wizards of the Coast or Nintendo. This is just us having fun in the world of Zelda with D&D. But enough of this legal disclaimer nonsense. It's now time to indulge in adventure. It is now time to read upon the Hyrule Chronicles. Wait, do you read something that you listen to? I don't know. And welcome to the second session of Hyrule Chronicles, the Zelda 5th Ed D&D game that I am running with these three particular individuals. First we have SteveTheSeregios.
Hello.
Yeah, he's playing Sho Daius.
Sho Daius, the Sheikah. So I'm a blade singer.
Okay.
Cat's out of the bag. The moment I started firing fireballs from my hands.
Next we have Alvarance playing Hikan.
Hello.
And then finally we have TheNetherlad playing Renji.
Hyrule Chronicles 2. Hyrule harder.
The Hyruling.
I was going to go Chronicle harder, but no. I wanted that alliteration.
Alliteration, man.
Yeah.
Alliteration. Oh dear. Now,
Chronicles 2 Electric Boogaloo.
as a GMing style, most people who do these prolonged podcasts and streams and things, the GM is usually the person who recaps what happens in the last session, but I don't like to do that. I like to make sure my players are paying attention. So, who would like to do the recap from the last time?
You didn't mention this in the green room.
Fuck it, we do it live!
I'll do it live!
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh no!
Yes!
Fine, you do it.
Our merry band of Sheikah boys, the lads on tour, convened at the place where their adventure starts, a small farm outside the just bordering the nice village of Riggenstead. After meeting with a pretty distraught man over the loss of his son and his cows, we went to go and find him. We did go find them. Also, we have a Gerudo Paladin who likes to fight alongside us. She's pretty cool. We went on. We fought. We won. I got stabbed in the leg. And so we returned and collected our suitable reward, went to the bar, had a pint, wait for all this to blow over, but it seems that it hasn't yet, and shenanigans are afoot. Literally the end of the last session was there's shenanigans happening outside, and I believe that is where we will be setting to deal with said shenanigans.
Indeed. So, as succinctly described, the session ended last time as the group heard a scream from outside, and there's quite clearly a bit of commotion going on. So, what do you do upon hearing said scream?
Go outside.
Or a door next, or is the door open?
The door is currently closed, but there's windows that you can look outside.
Upon hearing the potential screams of injustice, Sho's like, opening the door out the front, run. Need to help people.
Okay.
And
So-
since he opened the door, Hikan's going next to the door to see if he can get a look at what's going on before rushing in headfirst.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Perception check. Nat 20.
Nat 20 for a total 25. Outside, you can see through the mingling of crowds and people running in different directions. You see what appears to be several humanoid figures, one of which is a person dressed in a guard's uniform. They have a spear and are wearing very basic armor, but they wear the crest of the Hylian Royal, the Hylian Guard. And across from them appears to be several individuals, one of which is a very tall, bulky humanoid thing. Or I would say bulky, very lanky, with dark purple skin.
Dark purple skin.
As this is happening, I fix my shield to my arm and just check my sword a little carefully, and I step out of the inn.
Okay. Tyrina will pick up her axe and bolt outside, much like Sho did. Are you following outside, Hikan, or are you going to stay inside?
I'm gonna follow everybody else.
Okay.
Alright, what do we got?
Right. So we do recognize them as wearing guard's armor of the Hylian guard. The Hyrulean guard.
Yeah.
One of them's dead ass.
As you are running outside, you see far more detail. The one guard who's standing, who's over here, he's heavily wounded and is barely able to stand. He's on one knee, but he's just defiantly looking down at this lanky, feral-looking, purple-skinned creature who's waving this kind of cleaver-like implement around over his head. And there are next to this purple-skinned creature is another guard who appears to be on the ground and unmoving. Behind them is a trio of these rough-looking, leather armor-wearing Hylians, all that seem to be they fit the stereotypical bandit look. And one of them has tied up a young male Hylian who's on the floor bound and gagged next to him, and they're all kind of menacing this one guard.
Right, and these three ruffians, they are not wearing any recognizable uniform, are they?
They don't appear to be wearing anything recognizable, no.
Right. As this is happening, I wish to at least step closer, at least so I can be in closer earshot to this guard that is in obvious distress.
Well, myself and Tyrina bolted, so we're probably the furthest ahead of the party.
Yeah. So if you maneuver
I'd say here. About.
Yeah. So maneuver yourself to where you think you would get to as you move in, and I'll tell you if you
give the civilians past and whatnot.
I was going to go here, and I'm not sure if I mentioned any hit dice last time during the short rest, so I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, by all means, it did count as a short rest, so you're able to spend a hit die if you wish to, retroactively.
In that case, don't mind if I do.
Okay.
And that is input value, yes. That's a 6, so I'm at full health again.
Okay, excellent.
And as this is happening and I step closer, I keep a tight grip on the hilt of my sword, and I look at the wounded guard, and I just quickly say, "What is the meaning of this?"
The guard looks behind him and sees these ruffians. They've come in. They killed my squad mate. I don't know what they want. They don't say anything.
And then I look over at the purple-skinned individual and the three ruffians behind him. Mm-hmm. You four, state your business.
Make a perception check.
All right.
Everyone who can see them now you're closer. All of them who can see them can make perception checks. That's 20.
Not natural, but still.
18.
Nice.
16.
Excellent. Okay. So what you can see is that now you're much closer. The three of you can spy that these individuals have very crazed expressions. Like the pupils are contracted and the eyes are wide. Underneath their eyes, you can see these rather ominous dark marks, as if they've been tattooed onto like beneath their eyes, and the only response you get is from the bokoblin, who just cackles at you.
Well, that's disconcerting.
Indeed. He's getting it first, and I draw my blade, still with the strange blackish particles coming off of it, and I aim it at the bokoblin for another eldritch blast strike.
Well, buddy. Wait. Oh, is that a surprise attack, or we're rolling initiative?
You can make the attack, but you won't get advantage because it's not a surprise attack. They seem
fair.
very aggressive, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm in plain sight, so I'm not bothered too much. And that will be a 20 to hit.
It's going to make impact.
that is a hit, and your damage is 9.
Yes,
So
9 damage. 9 force.
there's like a thunk and a fizzle as the blast hits him and sizzles his flesh. But unlike the mini blins before, who were far more frail, this thing just staggers one step back and then just continues to laugh.
Eats it like a champ.
Yeah, thrilled at the prospect of combat.
Did somebody say glorious motherfucking combat?
In that case, I wish... is it possible for me to also use a bonus action to cast?
Can do, but either way, we're rolling initiative.
Alright.
Because, it's not really a full turn. 18. Nice.
Need to find my bandits. So the way that you roll your initiative is you make sure that... Oh yeah, we've already done this. We've already gone over this, it's fine.
Yes.
We've fought before!
We've fought before!
10.
This isn't our first rodeo. If it's a rodeo.
Hey, your initiative isn't... Your initiative makes sense. You went first, and now you're gonna go last.
Wow. Okay, so let's see. Descending order. Usually I have if there's a tie between an NPC and a player character, I have the player characters go first by default. So, in order, it is Sho followed by the bandits, followed by the purple-skinned creature, followed by Hikan, and then finally Renji. Oh yeah, I need to roll for Tyrina because she's there too.
Yes. Also, did I get my hex off?
Yes.
Okay, wisdom is a disadvantage.
Okay, so I'll mark that to say that their wisdom is disadvantaged, so I'll use that symbol there. Okay.
So, is Hex a bonus action?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Fair enough.
Otherwise, that would be tricky.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And then Tyrina will... That's appropriate. Okay. Tyrina got a 5.
Just sprinted out the fucking thing in a full plate, just like, woo, woo.
She's not even in full plate, she's just in chain. But,
Wait a minute.
Yeah, okay, so, Sho, since you're first, what would you like
I'm
to do?
going to speed on by here, point because of my short... Short rest gives back 1 spell slot, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then I'm using my arcane recovery. Is arcane recovery per long rest?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's once per long rest.
Yeah.
Once per long rest.
Arcane recovery is per short rest.
Okay, so that means I get both my spells back. 1 for the short rest and an extra 1 because of arcane recovery.
Yay.
Oh, so I think Arcane Recovery... Well, we'll go with that for now, but we'll I'll double check in a bit.
Sure. Alright, so I'm going to point his palm out, same as before, and I'm going to fire a chromatic orb at this bandit.
Okay.
Chromatic orb lightning.
That's a hit. For 10 damage. So it's 25 to hit and 10 damage. So that's there. So you throw the orb out. It fizzles through the air, tumbles. You can smell the burnt ozone as it flies past, and then it hits this bandit grievously in the face. You can see just this charred flesh sizzles off, and he screams in pain. He raises a hand to grab the burnt flesh, but he doesn't go down just yet. He's
Lightning scars.
barely standing.
I don't think I have any magic so I can use as a bonus, except I don't know. I don't think True Strike is.
No,
bonus.
I don't think it is. It's like
I think True Strike is an action as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough then. I guess I'm just gonna stand defensively.
Okay. And then it's the bandits go. The one who just got his face seared off is going to run over to Sho, hand axe raised. Or at least he would, but apparently my bandits are only equipped with light crossbows.
He goes to smack me with it.
Goes to smack you with it. Let's see. If they're... I'm going to just have them focus on range then, if that's all they have. But he's going to roll at disadvantage because he just got a grievous wound to his face. Does a 17 hit your AC?
Yep.
Okay, so you take 4 piercing damage as despite the wounds and the pain, he manages to land the bolt square in your shoulder.
I'm on 3 HP.
Okay. Yay, level 1.
Yay.
Okay, this bandit is going to maneuver over here and is going to open fire on Renji for...
Oh boy.
They're not on disadvantage because they are perfectly fine.
That does not hit.
No, a 12 does not hit your AC, so the bolt whizzes past. You bat it away with your shield. The other one's going to focus on keeping the civilian that they have trapped. Then the bokoblins go. The bokoblin is going to run up over here to the motherfucker who just hit it with an eldritch blast.
Most likely.
And is going to swing its mighty cleaver, which is flavored as a great axe.
No.
Does a 16 hit your AC?
A 16 does hit my AC.
Okay, so you take 5 slashing damage as he recklessly brings the axe to bear and swings and cuts into you. Hikan, it is your go.
That bokoblin is now in my way.
Smackins time.
Well, if he is in the way,
You can run to flank.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do is run behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to swing my quarterstaff at his face.
Yeah, and because you're flanking, you get advantage.
Sweet deal. Does a 9 hit?
A 9 does not hit his AC, I'm afraid.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, I hope that's not reflective of the other rolls I'm going to get. I am going to use my bonus action to do an unarmed strike. Does a 17?
A 17
a 25.
hits.
25 actually, because of advantage. You're still flanking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you deal 6 points of bludgeoning damage. You come in for an unarmed strike. How would you like to do this, as that is enough damage to kill the bokoblin?
Oh, thank goodness.
Renji, do you have your sword out?
Always.
Is he gonna push him on the sword?
I'm gonna donkey punch him into the sword.
Thwack!
You knock him. You knock him.
Run up behind him, swing over his head with the quarterstaff for whatever reason I missed, and just punch him right in the back of the head into the sword.
Yeah. It says crack. Your fist makes contact. He tumbles forward, and then there's just a sickening as it lands on the blade, and there's a pause before it starts to sink slowly down the sword.
I'm gonna look at Renji and give him a thumbs up.
Renji looks a little shaken about all this, and then just could I just pull out the sword and yeah, it's not really my turn. Well, it is my turn.
It is your turn.
Obnoxious kill-giving guardian.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull out the sword as this creature dies. Also, did it die because of the punch, or did it die because of this the impalement?
It was in the let's say it was put in the dying state because of the punch, and then outright killed when it landed on the sharp thing.
Would my sword then take it to the Twilight Realm?
I'd say yeah. So like, there's a brief period of time where you pull the sword out, and there's like these pixelated, drifting smoke that's rising from the stab wound, and after a while it begins to it doesn't do it as immediately as the mini blinn did, but it does seem to disintegrate very slowly into those little black pixels.
Fair enough. And then with my sword freed, first I need to make a Constitution saving throw because of Hex.
Oh yes. So I found out what the concentration checks are. It's 10 or however much, half of the amount of damage you took, whichever's higher.
Which is now 10, and I rolled a 20.
Yep. So you rolled a 20. So you maintain Hex.
I will put my Hex on the ruffian that attacked me.
Okay.
And I will disadvantage him on Wisdom.
Okay.
And I'm going to blast him with another shot from my sword.
Okay.
And that's another Eldritch Blast. That's an 11. Oh boy.
And their AC is sadly greater than 11. Thrilled by battle, the bandit ducks out of the way as the fizzling Eldritch Blast just flies past and lands on hits the side of a building, scorching the brickwork. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
You can move.
No, as I've done my bonus action, I've done my action. I do have my movement. I am actually going to step over. Oh, hold on. How did you do that with the sequential steps?
Okay, so what I did was you grab your token and you press spacebar while you've clicked and held it. And then every time you want to have it stop in a space, you press spacebar again, and you keep doing that until you've done all your moves, and then they'll just move through that path you've designated.
Wonderful.
Okay. On Tyrina's turn, she's going to go after the one you tried to Eldritch Blast. And she runs all the way over here, axe raised, running after this thing, and attempts to bring it down on the bandit's head. Gets a 12, which is just enough to hit their AC. And max damage of 14.
Dead.
Cleaves this bandit from shoulder to hip, and it falls in two pieces.
Cleft in twain.
Cleft in twain. Sho, it is now your go.
Okay, so
Good show.
Damn
this
it.
guy here, is he looking at the civilian?
He's keeping an eye on the conflict, but he's not attacking. He's more or less just. It seems like he's just keeping an eye on his prize.
Right. So I can't. So I was going to run behind him while I was preoccupied and give him a good old backstabbing, but that's not. Joe's going to hop over to the guy that he blasted in the face, and I'm going to give it a good old strike with my 8-fold blade.
That's a critical hit.
Basically, as he's I'd like to imagine because he's searing the guy's face is seared with lightning damage. Sho sprints up, does the draw slash, swing, sheaths it. The guy's already on the floor.
Very nice.
Yep, and that's far more than enough than you need. You only had a single hit point left after you hit him.
And I'm gonna death glare the last guy.
Make an intimidation
Last
check.
time.
But charisma -1. Come on, baby. Yeah, 14.
14. It's a good thing you didn't have disadvantages, otherwise that 0 would have really hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you glare him down, and this one last guy, he sees you do that, and begins to just and he's going to raise his crossbow and retaliate with a bolt.
That hits.
22 hits, dealing 3 piercing damage.
Which kills me. I'm down.
Yeah, you're unconscious. You're not dead.
What player say? I'm dead. What every DM afterwards says, you're unconscious.
I mean it as in, like, 0 HP means dead to me, okay?
I know. It just doesn't...
Yeah.
Gets plugged in the fucking side. It's like, oh, okay, too much blood.
So that bandit's done his thing. The bokoblin is dead. Hikan, your companion has just toppled to the ground, a crossbow bolt to their midsection. There's this one asshole left.
And I'm gonna go over to him real quick if I can grab the right thing here. And then I'm gonna swing at his face with my quarterstaff.
That's a hit.
13. Alrighty, does 6 damage.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna use my bonus action for an unarmed strike. 9.
Sadly, I'm afraid a 9 does not hit him.
Yeah.
You see, it's almost like you hit him with the quarterstaff, and he topples back such a distance that your well-practiced follow-up strike isn't long enough to reach as he stumbles back. But yeah,
You need to do some more growing, boy, before you get them reach hands.
yeah. Renji.
Right. Having sadly missed the other opponent, I am going to put my hex on to the remaining bandit.
Mm-hmm.
I will disadvantage wisdom once more.
Okay.
And I close my eyes for a slight moment, then flick them back open, looking at the bandit over in the way. There's quite a bit of distance, but I whisper under my breath, and I say in the tongue of the Twilight, Master, let your messengers ring out, and I cast Toll the Dead on him. He must make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. Wisdom saving +0 to it anyway. Let's see how he does. He got a 3.
Okay. Full damage.
And since it is a... he has received damage already, so it is... Oh, that's a 1d12 is a 2.
So that's a 10. 10 damage.
That's a 10. It's enough, though.
No. It's as in it does 1d12 damage if the person is damaged, or it does 1d8 if it's not damaged. So it's 2 rolls there. It's not 10, sadly.
Ah, that's a shame. But yeah, so it's so it rings out. You can see kind of like the little pixely smoke kind of circle around his head, infiltrate his ears, and he begins to start like trying to scratch at his ears and his face to try and get it out of his head. Sadly, that's not enough. Let's see. How's Tyrina?
Bumper cars.
She doesn't really have anything else in the way of gear, so she's going to... so Tyrina's going to run over to our friendly downed samurai dude.
Your friendly neighborhood near-dead guy.
She's going to use a medicine check to try and stabilize you. She's going to spend her action to try and patch up your wounds and immediately tend to you. That's sadly not enough. So she doesn't make it worse. She just doesn't... So on your turn, I'd like you to go ahead and make a death saving throw. So it's a D10, it's a D20, a flat D20. If you get 10 or less, it's a fail. If you get more than 10, it's a success.
And if you get a 20, you are immediately back on your feet with 1 hit point, and since it is the start of your turn, you have the rest of your turn to...
I want a 20. Undying
Also 20.
Spirit. Oh
Yes!
Natural 20.
Critical hit!
How you like
How'd
it?
you like that shit?
Oh man.
Just like off on the brink of death, just like puts the sheathed sword like butt first into the ground, pulls himself up, and is like.
I'm just imagining Tyrina, even though she failed it, or because she failed the medicine check, just like came up, just smacked him, was like, "Get up!"
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't die on me." Okay, gets up.
So yeah, you roll natural 20 on your death save, and you are now conscious with 1 hit point, back on your feet, and this is the start of your turn, so you can do things.
And then, good old, like the wind, whoosh, behind, sword at the ready,
Yeah.
advantage, be gone!
And that's an immediate another natural 20 for 11 damage. For the sake of it being your really amazing heroic moment in only the second combat of this entire campaign, how would you like to do this?
Basically, it's like Tyrina does the whole, like, don't die on me, don't die on me. And as she prepares to, like, you know, get back to fighting, because she's done her best, just quietly, Sho stands up, sword, like on the hill, and then fucking just, whooshing, moves back, like, in one go, is standing behind them, sheaths the sword.
I could
I
say
trunked this motherfucker.
I'm gonna say for extra flavor text, like the guy stands there for a moment and then
proper,
collapses, and the civilian on the floor, their bonds are cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nani?
Ching.
All right.
Okay.
Stands there for a second after, like, sheathing the sword, and then falls to a knee like, oh shit.
And Renji does exactly the same, falling to one knee as he clutches his side.
Tyrina, suitably impressed, is going to go over to the guard and help him to his feet. And say, I think we're all gonna need another drink after this, you know? Come on, we'll get you back inside. And immediately begins to help this guard into the tavern. Yeah.
I would like to see if any of these people have anything on them that could give us a clue to where they came from or anything along those lines.
Okay. Make an investigation roll.
On haggard breaths, Sho turns his head to the civilian that has been freed from their binds, and just speaking to them is like, "You're not hurt, are you?"
No, I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good. Good. Falls on his face. Hat, glasses, and smoking pipe fall out. It's like,
Hikan rolled a 10 on that one, which is pretty impressive given his -2.
Where's the booze?
Where is the booze?
Does this man possess alcohol?
You rummage through their stuff, and you don't seem to find anything immediately of value. They have crossbows, and between them they have somewhere in the region of 19 crossbow bolts left. They have a basic dagger that they all have, and they're wearing very simple leather armor. They don't exactly have any major markings other than the markings that are below their eyes, but that's about it. It's not like yours where it's like a teardrop or a triangle or something remarkably religious or significant. It just appears like someone's tattooed guy liner heavily under each of their eyes.
Fucking Undertaker wannabe.
Yeah.
Has the bokoblin been investigated yet? If not, I wish to do so.
Sure, go for it.
All right.
while he's doing that, I'm going to.
That's a 20 for me, unnatural.
Nice.
I'm going to help Sho over to where Renji's at.
Make sure to bring
drape
my
his
shit.
arm over my shoulder and walk
My,
him
sh-
over.
my shit! Don't forget my shit!
I
Glad-
turn
glad-
around awkwardly with him there, and then bend over with him still hanging over my shoulder. To
Pick up my stuff first! That's what you should have done. Even while unconscious, Sho is still gripping on tightly to the sword. Like, nope, not letting go.
Oh
If
dear.
there is something in my left hand, it is probably the sheath of the sword, so I'm not letting it go.
As you investigate the Bokoblin, Renji, it's much like the others. They have very basic piecemeal hide armor. They have a kind of really crude weapon. It looks more or less as if it's just a slab of wood and metal as opposed to being a proper weapon. They, other than that, they don't appear to have anything else of interesting. They don't even have any money.
About the state of the bandits, because they seemed to have been under some sort of thrall. Are there any signs on the Bokoblin, or is it just, yeah, it's a Bokoblin, they do this sort of shit?
The Bokoblin also, it's harder to see because of the color of their skin, but they have the same sort of black markings that are underneath their eyes. It definitely seemed that whatever was affecting these bandits was also affecting this Bokoblin, but admittedly it's hard to tell because it's a Bokoblin. They're usually quite manic.
Yeah. I look over at the others, seeing Hikan with Sho and with Tyrina with the guard. Gentlemen, milady, what the hell happened here?
I think that the monster came in and scared everybody, and then the guys kinda had to tie up that person, and they wanted a prisoner. And we stopped it.
Whatever it is probably going to be something to do with those two guys that we were talking to earlier, surely.
They said that they were being assailed. If these are their assailants, it seems they have some explaining to do.
Indeed.
Hikan, knowing that Renji is at least a little hurt, offers his quarterstaff as a walking stick to get back to the tavern.
Renji smiles. Thank you, Hikan. I do appreciate that. And takes hold of the quarterstaff gratefully.
Okay, back to the drink. Let's go talk to these guys.
Looking at the other civilians, yeah, Renji is going to look at the other civilians and basically tell them to bring the guard as the other commoner who had been trapped / kidnapped, whatever they were.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, they comply as best they can.
Something that is very. This is like, of course they should. It's like, of course, this is a proper response, according to Renji.
Yeah. As they go about that, and you guys head back inside the tavern, there's a bit of a commotion as people go about their business. And you see Avalon and Miles, the two individuals from before. They look over and Avalon says, is it over? What happened?
I believe it is, but can you please tell us who your assailants were? Yes, we've overheard.
Okay. They look to each other and say, well, you've done this place a great service, so that's only fair. Come, sit. We'll buy you some drink and food, and we shall explain.
Yes!
Very well.
Okay.
Renji sits down gently, gives Hikan his quarterstaff back when he's suitably seated.
As soon as Sho is carefully and gingerly sat down, I will gladly take my quarterstaff.
Okay. So as you're sitting down, Avalon comes back over. Avalon and Miles come back over. They pull up a couple of stools, and eventually the barmaid brings over like several drinks, and then leaves and comes back with a plate of very basic food stuff like bread, hunks of cheese, meats, vegetables, standard tavern fare. And after everyone's kind of settled in, Avalon begins to explain. He says, me and Miles, we're scholars for Lord Simeon in Hyrule Castletown. We were requested to go and investigate the nature of stars at night out in the fields, away from light pollution that is generated by the city's torches. We've been doing this for several days, and only this morning was our caravan attacked by bandits. There was 3 of us, but only myself and Miles managed to get away. We don't know what happened to Samson. He fell behind, possibly captured, or worse. We kept running when we realized that, we were being chased by a group of them. Three men and a bokoblin, I believe. And we ran.
They have some weird mark under their eyes?
I don't know. I think we were too much in a panic to look in great detail.
Just for completion's sake, we just struck down 3 men and a bokoblin.
But these ones have marks under their eyes. They could be different.
Correct, that is true. Maybe they could be the same, and in your hurry, you could not see the markings. They were hard to see on the bokoblin, at least.
Yes. And Avalon begins to think about it slightly. And then Miles speaks up and says, we were trusted with one of our Lord's heirlooms. It's a golden astrolabe. It was what he gave us to say that we could use to map star charts and continue our research. It was sadly abandoned with the rest of the materials. Now that those 3 are gone, I'm not sure exactly what we can salvage from what we have. And as they're talking, the still living guard from before, who's currently having his wounds tended to, is like getting him like an arm bandage. He says, "Bandits, huh? Sounds like Brixton's men."
Who is this Brixton?
Brixton. He is a bandit captain that lives on the roads between here and Castletown. He's usually not very violent. He's not. No one's died by his hand, but he's still a problem. Been difficult to put him away, you see. He has a friend or 2. One of them is a moblin he calls Thief Stealer.
Chief Steele, you said?
T-Stealer.
Yes.
Steeler.
Well, that's disconcerting. Being someone who practiced swordplay a lot and has acted a little bit as a bounty hunter before reaching now, would Sho have any increased knowledge on Brixton?
Make a general intelligence check. Is it 12? Okay. You've heard the name Brixton bandied about a couple of times. You haven't got any bounties to take him in, or known anyone who really is up for doing so. What you know is that he's resourceful, and utilizes whatever he can find. And as the guard has said, you know that he's not that his fatalities as a bandit are remarkably low compared to other bandits on the road who just kill.
He's one of those more beat up and steal rather than kill and loot, pillaging. So this is rather out of the ordinary for his work, one might think. Well, I mean, they didn't. They took down the guard, but that probably is because, you know, the Bokoblin did it out of self-defense or because it's crazy, but they did capture one of the civilians, so it is somewhat in line with his methods.
It certainly sounds like a lead that we might follow up if we were to do such a thing. I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't have a curfew, but I'm not entirely certain how long my parents are going to be okay with me just faffing about.
Well, they
I'll
say
put in
you're
a
only
word
in
for
trouble if you get caught, so don't worry about it.
Sho, knowing Avalon and Miles to be scholars under Lord Simeon, is like, allow me to request something of you, Sirs Avalon and Miles.
Yes, what would that be?
Since you work under Lord Simeon, if we proceed to retrieve this item of yours, an astrolabe, was it?
Yes, an astrolabe. A golden astrolabe.
If we were to retrieve this to you and return it to yourselves in Hyrule Castle and your lord, would you manage to put in a good word to your lord so that maybe the young master here would not violate his, puts up two fingers, curfew?
And you can see Renji, at hearing the word master, just roll his eyes and turn away for a bit.
Avalon says, that would be the least that we would do. We would be indebted to you to do such a thing.
Well, we can negotiate what the debt might be once we retrieve it for you.
Yes. Very well. If you were to do so, then myself and Miles, we'll wait here for your return. Although, he gives a glance over you, Sho, and says, perhaps going immediately would not be the best of ideas.
As is evident. We will be resting, of course, but we shall make haste as soon as we...
Okay.
Will you be
resting
safe
does
on
sound
your
like a
return?
good idea.
I believe so. As long as we remain out of sight and out of trouble, I believe we could possibly be okay.
Of course. Joe closes his eyes and just like rest. Just needs to rest his eyes for a minute. Talk too much. Still in considerable amounts of pain. Lost a lot of blood.
Tyrina shakes her head, stands up, and says, "Well, if we're staying here, I think I'm gonna go scope out a room. You guys in, or are you gonna get your own places?"
I'm fine with a room.
I am in agreement with that, yes.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
You sure?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right then. She heads over to the bar and begins to inquire about a room. And you are left alone with Avalon and Miles. Could kind of like do the awkward sort of look around, twiddle their thumbs, sort of. So how about
Same
them
shit
sports
every day.
balls?
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
Did you watch the game? My preferred team scored well in the game. Damn unpreferred team and their ways.
And their children?
Something football chant clapping involved.
I don't know if is this picking up on my thing? I don't know if it is. But if it is, then for the sake of context in regards to the weather, it is currently raining. Because there is just rain on my roof. I don't know if it's picking up over the microphone. But yeah. So, is there anything that you guys were planning on doing before you went to bed?
Gets up with his drink and meanders his way over to the guard that's healing. And sits across from him, observing the people that are bandaging him up and taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Sure don't know. I hope he's bandaging himself up.
There's
either way, he's still observing.
Yeah, so there's...
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say that there's one person, there's one of the civilians who's kind of in the very practical work clothes, and he's got what looks like a belt mounted sewing kit, and he's just kind of pulling needles out and strings, and he's doing sutures. Occasionally pulls out like a bolt of cloth and wraps up a wound and moves on to the next thing. And providing him some assistance is a very small girl, possibly about 8 or 9 in age. And they're just going about it wordlessly and rather professionally.
Does this Brixton fellow do things with people with magic? Because those guys didn't act natural to me. They acted natural to you. They seemed really weird.
The guard thinks over it and then shakes his head, though winces slightly when he does so. And earns a glare from the little girl and says, I don't think so. I don't think that Brixton is one who is capable of magic, or I don't think there's anyone in his retinue who is capable of magic. And then as he says that, someone else nearby, this rather portly woman, says, "Oh, I don't know about that. I heard that he's got one of them Gerudo witches in his retinue. Some spell-casting lass, capable of many, many terrible things. My Johnny says that he saw her throwing fireballs and crafting magical weapons out of thin air." And there's the guy just, "Matilda, would you stop spreading such rumors? You're scaring people, especially me."
back like as Sho's nursing himself, he's maintaining his sword. Got blood in it. No one gets blood on my sword. My sword's nice. He's cleaning it, and he's currently at the notion of that. There's just a shing, shing, Just sharpening his sword with a whetstone. It's like magical swordswoman.
Says so with that 13 Arcana check that you rolled there, Hikan, you believe that there are definitely spells that do that. Not necessarily crafting magical weapons out of thin air, but like summoning spiritual things. At least you've heard of that sort of thing.
I was checking was, would he believe this?
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, I mean, I can.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you're not sure how exactly truthful all of this is, considering how overblown Matilda's apparent testimony is.
Well, I mean, I have sword burst. I can create swords.
Yeah.
I have magic, so stands to reason.
I know sometimes asking stuff like this is tough, but I'm not particularly good with words. But what happened with your friend out there?
The guard.
The dead guard, yeah.
Yeah, the guard looks out the window kind of wistfully and says, he was one of those diplomacy guys, you know. I mean, joined the guard but was never really into the whole fighting thing. He just wanted to talk, tell them to go away. Hopefully they'll be out there, they'd understand. And next thing you know, the goblin got him. Just. Seems rather withdrawn upon asking that question.
I order him a drink, and then I go back to my group.
Okay.
Twould be wise to not press any matters further for now.
At that time, Renji steps up, obviously not looking the greatest, and looks at the man and the girl that were tending to the guard, and just clears his throat. Excuse me, kind lady. Would you and your companion be able to tend to a small wound I've had for the last few minutes now?
The little girl looks over to you, and she's kind of got the little girl kind of glare, pouty sort of puff cheeks. So I was like, no, you have to wait your turn. And the guy who's still suturing some wounds on the soldier's like, now, be nice.
I didn't see you were still tending to the guard. I do apologize.
No, it's fine. It is okay.
Wait a minute. Hikan starts patting his sides and looks in his bag real quick. I can't do it, Renji. Come here.
I'm pretty sure that even in my state, I'm more capable of doing so.
I don't wish to impugn your skill. I can't.
Come on. If you don't, I'm gonna start poking Sho with it.
Touch me, you lose your head.
Can I do any sort of insight into how skilled Hikan is with this sort of thing?
I mean, I love the fact that like he's holding the like suturing needle like a pair of scissors. He's like, I got this, guys, don't worry.
Yep.
I'd say make an insight check, and it can't make a persuasion check or a deception check, depending on what kind of thing you're going for. Probably persuasion, from the sounds of it.
Actually,
I'm being completely honest.
I don't see the insights on this sheet. Is that?
Sometimes the
Sounds
sheets
nice.
do load in without
It should be like near. It's in alphabetical order, so it should be below history.
Go to core. There you go. Yeah, insight isn't on there. So click on the pencil icon on your sheet to begin editing. Then do add under survival.
Yeah, I see. Yes, I will.
Yep.
I'll just fix that.
Yep.
In that case, I'll just roll a normal wisdom check.
Yep.
Because I don't have. Or is insight is wisdom, right?
Insight is based off of wisdom, correct?
Then that is a 19 plus 2.
19 plus 2.
I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
Oh, nope, it's a 5.
Uh,
Even if I
like-
said that.
He seems earnest. He seems very earnest in wanting to help you out. But you're unsure as to how skilled he might be based off of current perceptions. Though you feel like there is a wisdom behind him that would allow him sufficient skill in the matter.
Right.
Look, if it makes you feel better, I'll just wrap it up. I'm not gonna touch you with a needle or nothing sharp, okay? Okay.
Yes, of course. I appreciate the offer, and I sit next to Hikan, and I kind of pull away the clothes where the bokoblin had rent me with his cleaver.
Okay, so Hikan, make a medicine check.
I have a healer's kit. How do I use that?
Healer's kit, mechanically speaking, is you don't have to make a wisdom medicine check in order to stabilize someone. You get 10 uses of a healer's kit, and you're like, I've got everything.
First aid.
13?
Okay. So yeah, you managed to with that check you are able to, using your healer's kit, just apply bandages, like apply appropriate pressure, put the
Swab antiseptic. The good old first aid swab, antiseptic, wipe it down, put on the bandage.
Yeah.
Alright. There, it's at least clean and wrapped up now.
Thank you. It does feel a little better now. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Hikan.
I smile and give another thumbs up.
Tyrina, did you?
Yes.
Where's Tyrina? Did she get a?
She's inquiring about a room still.
Yeah. So she finishes a conversation with the barmaid and like takes a key, wanders back over, says, "Can I help?"
Yeah. About that room. What did you have in mind?
Well, I've just brought a room for myself, one bed. I mean, you're more than willing to share, but I'm going to be the one taking the bed, sweetie.
No, I figured that. Just wondering if you were talking about, say, a deal for
a communal room,
that sort of thing.
Something like that.
But no, that's fine. I'll just see what I can scrounge up as well, and I head towards the bar.
Tyrina chuckles to herself and says, I can tell you guys are going to be a lot of fun. Have a good night. And then...
Wait. What can you tell us about Gerudo magic? It turns out our bandit captain might have made a friend.
Operative word being might.
Well, Gerudo magic is oftentimes a very dangerous but very desperate thing. It's a lot of elemental stuff, and we kind of have to, if that's what you're asking. But other times, that desperation draws bargains with less favorable things. There are also individuals out there who just use magic for the sake of lashing out. I mean, our king, his caretakers, they're real bitches. And they're like centuries old. They're not the kind of women that you want to be tangling with. If it's any kind of magic like that you're thinking about, well, that can be quite dangerous. But there is a weakness to it, I'm sure.
Can this magic brainwash people?
Oh, yeah. Magic can do a lot of things, regardless of where it comes from. There's a lot of individuals out there who can manipulate magic to warp your mind, to make you afraid, angry, happy, sad.
If we do have a case of a Gerudo witch hunter, it appears our opponents that we had faced earlier may have been branded with some kind of thrall magic.
It's possible. I mean, there are many other things out there. I mean, we on this mortal plane, as far as I know, usually spend most of our time doing the whole kind of magic-y thing. We're just pulling forces out of the air. It's like a fundamental thing, except for me, where I get my power from Our Lady Etheria.
Mine's on the former sense.
But there are those who aren't as book smart as you, or as faithful as I, or those who haven't been born into it. Sometimes they need a little bit of help from those who are willing to give that kind of ability. But if that's what we're looking at taking on, then it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Renji is looking very uncomfortable at this talk.
So before I
You
Before I
okay,
hit-
buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. It's just interesting theoretical discussions, of course.
Do not press the matter too much. You can't.
Just try and be prepared.
No, it's fine. I'm sure that whatever I'm into is not what we are up against, so that's fine.
Exactly.
I'll
Alright.
procure myself a room as well.
Night.
Good night. And she heads upstairs. You guys procure your rooms and settle in for the night. Renji,
Mm-hmm.
as you drift off to sleep, I want you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh boy. I will make a wisdom saving throw, and that is a 10.
10. Okay. As you drift off to sleep, you find it remarkably difficult to do so. To kind of toss and turn. It's almost as if you have too much energy from the day. That classic case of being tired all day and then being energized as you lie awake and stare at the ceiling.
The injury probably doesn't help either.
The injury
No.
does not. Still some of that leftover adrenaline. And as you close your eyes for a moment and then open them up, and then everything kind of has this amber hue to it. And around you can see little pixels of blackness rising in the air.
Am I still in the inn, or am I someplace else?
You're still in your inn room.
Okay.
Still have the basic wooden walls. Still have the very kind of... Oh, there you go. Yeah, hooray. Still have the basic wooden walls. Still have the very basic bed. Your stuff is piled over on one side of the room.
I did want to mention, before going to bed, after locking up my door, I would have unsheathed my sword, which would still slowly have these particles coming off. But basically, that is my way of checking, like, is this magic leaving me? And I was going to, renew it in the morning.
Yeah. As you look over to your sword, it seems like the intense shadow and this pixelated smoke seems to consume the whole blade, more so than it usually does. And from it, you hear a sadly familiar voice. It is, I see you have made some friends.
I was socially adequate before, you.
How nice.
very nice.
What is it? Really need my sleep at this time.
Oh, I'm sure you do. But the thing is, you sent me something very, very interesting.
That wasn't my intention. I didn't even know that could happen. You haven't mentioned that.
The small thing that you sent me, oh no, that was just a small thing. Easily dissected, easily understandable. No, the thing I'm talking about is the purple thing.
Yeah, I didn't even kill that one.
Oh, but it fell upon your blade and came to me. Yes. It's very interesting indeed, Renji. It has something attached to it. Something trying to be as dark as I. But...
But what?
It's but a fraction of what it tries to be.
Okay. Can you tell me what it tries to be?
Something not of this world, but something familiar. Something almost like you. Something that has made a promise to another thing. A thing outside your plane of existence wanting to creep in. Oh yes. Do send me more things like that. Slay more things like that.
Hold on. I didn't make this bargain so I would destroy things.
Then why did you make this bargain? Desperation, curiosity, or were you just bored? Or were you lonely? What is it, Renji? Decide for yourself. And while you're finding your answer, send me more curiosities like that bokoblin you sent me today. I would much appreciate it. And then,
Are we done?
As you at that, you wake up in a cold sweat. The room is back to normal. It is still dark outside. You can see the moonlight creeping in from the outside. The blade has returned back to its usual smoky state.
You see, I was gonna knock in the middle of the night and ask questions, but meh. I guess now it's like the knocking's kind of frantic because it's like, I know you're not that live a sleeper. You're not that heavy a sleeper, rather. Like,
Yeah, so you hear the knocking at the door.
Okay. As it happens, is there like a towel in the room or anything?
Yeah, there's a towel. The bed sheets are soaked.
Yeah, fair enough. I wipe my brow, but like my clothes, like I would probably have slept in just my underclothes. They are soaked. I unlock the door and I poke my head out. What is it?
Sho is standing there, hat off, glasses off, no Kizaru pipe, and his deadly serious look in his eye. Like, we have something we must talk about.
Can it wait until after breakfast?
You'll be waiting a bit more time.
Is it about the sword?
That has something to do with it. Yes.
Oh, for the love of Hylia. Fine, come in. And Sho can see that, well, my underclothes and the bed is soaked through with sweat.
Sho peers over the sword rather inquisitively and is like, well, upon encountering those mini-blins, I could already tell that this was not of our plane.
It is not.
I do know how you hate my authoritative rank, but you must understand, young master, that Nihilus and the other court Sheikah wouldn't take incredibly kindly to something as this. Bargaining with dark forces.
It wasn't a bargain, it was... Look, if I would explain to them, they wouldn't understand.
Then explain to me.
Renji's just going to sit down on the bed, looking rather pale. It's like... I found books in the library. Books that the librarians probably didn't even know were there. They were hidden away, tucked in a niche. Within a niche. It was as if they were hidden purposefully, and I just happened to read them.
Grandmaster Zelish will have my head for this.
It was just out of curiosity. I wanted to read something else other than the periodicals and the chronicles and the freaking tax payments of the castle town.
As I said before, I understand that you are one to shirk your responsibilities.
Look, I'm trying to be better. I know buying the shield, buying the sword. I didn't even know I could do that with the sword.
That is of your own volition.
I know, but see, I know it's us, but we've saved Josiah. I've re-earned the money that I was given. I'm trying to be responsible.
That isn't what I'm talking about, Renji. You know that.
The sword, the magic, is a responsibility that I must bear.
Are you capable of doing so?
I don't know. But
and that is why I am here. Despite your wanderlust, you do understand that I am not here on business. And you, like it or not, have some kind of kinship to me within the castle. I'm not here lecturing you, for you are even above my station. But...
look, if this was anything normal, yes, I would have your rank. I would have you stripped. But, can't do that and not expose this.
I do not speak to you antagonistically, Renji.
I know this. I'm sorry.
I'm not here to be your chaperone. Though, given the circumstances, right now I am your companion. And as such, if this burden were to become too much to bear for you, then you do not keep secrets from me.
Fine. Look, the thing that happened during our fights, where these creatures just vanished?
I am learned enough. The Twilight Realm is something long and ancient. Yes, I know.
Right. But what you don't know... I found out that the bokoblin carried something with it.
Upon its person, or its person?
Its person. It was an influence from outside. Not like
I understand what you
I've-
mean.
Not like what I've done, but thrust upon them, I think.
Then magic is definitely at play. And dark stuff.
Yes, dark stuff.
Fine.
I believe they were forced into an arrangement such as the one I have.
Less of a pact, more of a tribute.
A burden, I would say.
That is indeed concern. Fine. Allow me to offer you this. When we return to Hyrule Castle, evidently, I will not mention to Grandmaster Zelish or any of the other court Sheikah about the blade and what you have been tampering with. But you offer me this in return. If this burden were to become too much to bear, you ask me. I will help you.
I pray that day will never happen, but
As do I. I am not your chaperone.
you've mentioned that, yes.
Then we are in
Fine,
accordance.
Yes, I accept. And let this not be spoken of outside of private matters. Because Grandmaster Zelish wouldn't be very happy about you calling him just Master.
Sho, squints, furrows his eyebrows at them.
I mean, if you called my parent Master, I mean, that would be appropriate. But not.
Boy, do not lecture me upon station.
Of course,
I
of
know
course.
mine. Do you?
At this
I'm
moment,
torn in.
he's
I know that.
stretching as he's walking by, going down to breakfast.
It's still dark outside, mate. I don't know what breakfast you're getting. Midnight drinking. Woo!
There's no light service.
But yeah, Zelish Dairio should be spoken of with the proper respect, wouldn't you say, Sho?
Indeed.
Then we are in accord.
Gain the rest that you have forsaken. I will meet you in the morning.
I will do my utmost.
Sho leaves, shuts the door behind him.
Okay.
Renji's just sitting there, face in hand, and then tries to get some rest.
It's a bit easier this time. It's like everything's kind of just piled on top, and now it's just there.
Indeed.
As the night goes on, the rest of the night goes on without much of a disturbance, and dawn breaks through the windows, and you're awoken. You're fully rested. You have your health points back. You have your spell slots back, and as a bonus, because of the activities of yesterday, you have all woken up stronger, faster, better, level 2.
Nani? Sweet.
Excellent.
Level up. Sweet. Alright, so what's the average? The average for a wizard is
4.
4. And what
4
am I
plus Constitution.
4 plus Constitution. What am I rolling?
2d8, 1d8, the average is 4.5, so 5, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but for,
So-
yeah, so, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a different die.
Yeah, so for a wizard, it's either you roll a d6 and add your Constitution, or you take the average, which is 4, plus your Constitution to add to your hit points.
So the best I can
rolled a
get.
7!
Yes.
Nice. Good job, man.
Nice.
The best I can get would be 7. I'm gonna take the 5.
Okay.
So that goes up to 12.
Bizarre.
Just to make sure I add, you said plus the con modifier to that, so I would add 10 to my HP.
Yeah, so if your con mod is 2, then you add 10 in total to your HP.
I also need to add the. Okay, so I'm level 2 wizard now. Arcane tradition.
Yeah.
Non-armored movement.
Blade singer.
He's fast.
He's a speedy boy.
Yep, so the way I do the Blade Singer
That's a
Blade
speedy
Song is you can make a modifier on your thing which you can add your int to your AC whenever you use your Blade Song.
Okay, could you help me in adding Blade Song as one of my things?
Okay, so let's see. Sho Daius. There it is. Gonna do some editing thing. Might edit this over, be like have a whole Batman sound effect. Of
We'll get back to you after we've leveled up.
Level up.
Level up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a modifier called Blade Song. Then I'm going to click the cog on the sheet. Going to do click on AC, which you then can select int down on top of that. So there you go. So whenever your Blade Song is active, your AC shoots up to 17.
My walking speed increases by 10 as well.
Yeah, sadly I haven't figured out a way to change that.
That's fine. I'll just whenever I'm activating something, I can move 40 instead.
Yeah.
I gain advantage on all my dex checks.
Yep.
So
And you also whenever you do a concentration check, you add your intelligence to your Constitution save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that'll become a +5.
Yeah. Just need
Oh.
to be a warcaster and train resilience, and holy shit.
Yeah, and then you can use it twice a day.
Yeah.
Neat.
Okay. And I think everybody else kind of has extra spells stuff that every spellcaster gets spells that they can choose from. But we'll probably go over that between now and next session. But yeah.
I'm thinking of going Agonizing Blast because blasty.
You're gonna be the warlock that puts everything into the Eldritch Blast.
No, I mean I am a hex blade, so I'm not entirely certain if I am going to do all in on the Eldritch Blast. But
That's fine.
It is an added consideration.
Yeah. But yeah, you wake up and head downstairs, and the tavern is just in its usual morning status. The other patrons haven't gone up yet. They're clearly sleeping in from the drinking and all that stuff. There are a couple of patrons downstairs who are enjoying a breakfast. Avalon and Miles aren't down there. They're presumably still sleeping. The barmaid looks over and says, it is you, the grand heroes who had saved Rigenstead twice now. What would you like to breakfast?
Renji just calms down in his underclothes and the towel wrapped around him, and is like, before breakfast, could you direct me to any place I could wash up?
Oh, well, he says, well, if you go up the stairs and down to the end of the hallway, there is a bathroom. Sadly, the lock is broken, so make sure to knock before you go in. I would highly recommend you knock.
Thank you. And Renji does so, including knocking.
Okay. Yeah, clunk, clunk, clunk. A small period of time passes. No response.
And I just go in.
Yeah, we just go in. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's,
After a sufficient amount of waiting. Yes.
yeah. So you go in and you find that it's a fairly snug bathroom sort of area. There's panelled, there's still kind of wooden panelled walls. There's a small stove where an iron bucket is over the top of it. There's several wooden buckets of water nearby, and one large wooden tub in the middle with what appears to be some kind of soap and cloth.
Yeah, Renji is going to clean himself thoroughly
Okay.
before going back to his own room and getting dressed because he still has a fresh pair of clothes.
Yep.
Sho,
Okay.
being the diligent that he is, had already woken up before everyone else and got himself prepped and ready.
Yep.
And passes Renji, doesn't say anything.
Renji also, maybe even noticeably, does not say anything either.
Sho is he's got his full gear on, all of his outfit, his hat, glasses, pipe, not lit yet. Sword at the ready and stuff. Heads down and requests for the works.
The works.
I've nearly died twice in
The
the
works, you
in the
say?
Yeah.
Well, that would be, and she pulls out a pad of paper. That would be eggs, bread, cheese, pork, cow, goat, chicken, and Endurashroom.
Suitable. How much?
That would be 5 silver pieces.
Hands over a gold.
Excellent. She fetches you your change, and then this way, so I'll be right back. And
Sho sits
takes the
down.
back room.
Wait. For his meal, I want the works.
Probably at that time, Renji will have finished up getting dressed, and to anyone who's seen Renji fresh-faced in the morning, he is now looking a little more.
Animu.
Yeah, he's done his makeup.
just burst open the door. Boom! Gillette, the best the man can get.
Yes.
Yeah, he does look even like he doesn't look half asleep anymore. He looks fresh-faced now.
Mm.
And he sits down with Sho. He says, "What are you having?"
The works.
Sounds good.
But I'm not. Given the substance of said works, I may not be able to finish it all.
That sounds even better.
Indeed. Fetch yourself some cutlery.
Sure thing. And I head over to the bar to request something to drink. Since I hadn't had the sobering drink last time because of everything, I will ask for a mug of ale.
Breakfast ale.
Zachary says, going for something a bit more sensible this time. Very well.
One should try things in life, don't you think?
Yes, but there's a clunk as she presents you with the tankard of ale and says, curiosity did kill the cat.
Satisfaction brought it back.
I thought it was innovation, but yes. I take the mug, I push a... I push 4 silvers her way, and I say, is there any way of running a tab here?
I did do that for a while, but it's a trading post. People just disappear and don't pay their damn tabs, so
bad
have to pay on
returns,
the spot.
I suppose so. Was worth a try.
Leaps over the banister and throws a gold down for him.
Clink, 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 clink.
That money.
Like Renji being the upper crust boy he is, what is the going rate for ale or any sort of drink here?
As well, a standard cup of ale goes for 2 copper pieces.
It's like, copper? What is this?
Okay, in that case, I had like 4 silvers on each of my fingers except for the thumb, and I was going to push them towards her. I'll take back 2 and just slide them to her and say, I think that'll do for the upcoming, at least breakfast. We'll see about that.
Ah, you're too kind. And, so just takes the money, presents you with any kind of change that might be due, and then just goes back to cleaning things as she awaits the cooking to be finished. What's Renji doing this morning?
You mean Hikan?
Oh, not Renji, sorry, Hikan. There.
It's all right.
Other than being Batman.
Other than being Batman.
If you caught him, if he was stepping out of his room, he looked like he had already been at least a little bit active. He tends to have a morning ritual of his own, just normally going through forms.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes down and goes up to the bar and asks, "How many different ways do you serve pig?"
Oh, well, that is a good question. Most of the time, because it keeps for a long time, we do roast. But we can have a go at frying something if we have something else. Did you have anything in mind?
Ham slices, bacon, sausage, egg, toast, and mushrooms if you've got them.
Okay, so just price that. Sounds like adjusted works. Okay, we'll call this. Shit, I'm not very good with names. You name this new dish. It says to Hikan.
I look over at the other 2 Sheikah lads in there, and I have like this frightened look.
Sho rather pointedly says, Bruiser's breakfast.
Bruiser's breakfast. Very nice.
I was going for monk's meal, but sure.
Tell you what, I'll put it on the notice board, and we'll have the town vote. And she disappears to put that order up.
Sho glares there and she's like, my name's better.
We'll have the public decide.
So the barmaid disappears, leaving you at the bar alone, Hikan, for a brief moment.
I go back to my comrades, and as I'm walking back, a little bit less wobbly than most people would imagine, but it is the morning. I look to see if Tyrina's awake.
Tyrina is the last person to arrive. She kind of heads downstairs, yawns and stretches, flexing her back and everything. Looks over, smiles, and she sees all of you and says, "Well, good morning. Glad to see that my new erstwhile companions haven't run off scared for whatever reason." And she rests her axe against the table as she sits down.
She does so. Renji raises an eyebrow and says, "Why, whatever for would we do that?"
Oh, well, just making sure. Just making sure.
Wise man say, never run from Gerudo.
Wise man saying, never run on an empty stomach.
So we're procuring.
Wise man say, never run when you don't have to.
Not a lot of wise men are very active in this culture of yours, are they?
I've grown up in a castle town, so it seems about right.
Regrettably, he's right.
If monks measure wisdom, mine's closer to right.
So, I guess we have ourselves a nice big adventure today, hmm?
Indeed. We must find this Brixton fellow.
Might
Yeah.
be good to ask the guards where they think he might be stationed.
Hmm.
If that is the word one uses for brigands.
I suppose a hideout.
Yeah.
I have heard that Brixton uses a blade. I'm eager to match mine with him.
Hikan leans back a little and looks a bit forlorn or contemplative in thought.
You okay there?
If everything that we've figured out so far, like the Gerudo witch, as they call her, suddenly attacking without reason. I don't know if you guys heard my conversation last night with the guard, but
Some snippets?
I don't think Brixton's the one to go after. If he's got that Gerudo witch and stuff's changing and has been changing because of that, I think she should be the target over him.
Indeed. But the rumor mill states that the Gerudo Witch is in league with Brixton. So if we can get a bead on him, we might get a better trace by talking to him.
Just
I agree with the both of you.
Well, I guess that's unanimous then.
We'll search for Brixton, and if he is in league with this Gerudo Witch, we'll interrogate him about said information.
As I said, your breakfasts are brought before you. There's massive Monster Hunter style platters of food.
Yes! So
Hey,
two sets of works.
If you can.
What?
She goes, eat up if you can, and then he disappears behind the bar.
Sho takes off his hat, rests it beside him, takes off his glasses, puts it on the hat, takes out his pipe, puts it on top of the hat as well, puts his hands together, bows his head, and digs the fuck in.
Without the hat, glasses, or pipe, Renji does give the same sign of respect, and then a little more.
Napkin on, knife and fork. Like, bleh.
Well, not napkins, but he's going to eat with knife and fork. Yeah,
You're that one guy from Epic Mealtime who eats with cutlery.
Yeah. I'm going for the grab stuff first. Forks come later. What you can get with your hands, you get that first. Chicken leg. Whaff! Grab that. Nom, nom, nom.
Hikan, as with the other two Sheikah, does his head bow. And when he looks up and sees Sho going at it, Hikan takes it as a personal challenge and starts eating just as quickly.
Yeah.
Tyrina just rests an elbow on the table and watches all this, plucks one errant sausage and is just waiting for something.
Waiting for us to tire out so she can enjoy the rest of it.
Yeah.
Do not think that I'll be defeated so easily. Can I roll a constitution to see how much I put away?
Those who are wolfing it down in competitive stylings make a constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Oh, I am carefully and just eating my fill. That is all.
Oh, 20. No!
So it can't go to 20, and Sho got a 6.
No!
Oh.
So that's a bit where it's just the comical sound effects, just between the two of you, pieces flying everywhere, and eventually Sho's you go to make some kind of proclamation. You have to really hit your chest and stop as you begin to choke on something, and there, like an errant piece of bacon just gets in your way.
Sho then sits back, calm as ever, drinks some of his water, and is like, I'm sated. I've paid for the spread, so might as well eat as much as you can.
Tyrina shakes her head and chuckles as she kind of picks up a couple of things. Just so you get your fill of food. It is it's a lovely meal. It's not so much in the sense of like you've clearly had better living in Castletown, or in Hikan's case, just in the sense of good home cooking and making his own meals and whatnot.
But after what's happened,
yeah, it feels good to eat this. It's homely, it's delicious. The texture is just like everything you eat in regards to is just the right texture for stuff. So the bacon crispy, the ham soft and sweet and tender. Everything about the food is just like it's the right sort of thing to eat, and you feel like wholly satisfied for a morning breakfast. And as you finish eating, and the two large platters of food are cleared, the barmaid comes over and takes the plates away, and Tyrina just kind of heaves a sigh. Well, are we ready to go, or are you guys going to be cramping your way all the way there?
Let us make tracks.
Hikan hops up without a word, just ready to go.
Well, did we talk to the guard already about any hidey holes?
We need to go speak to them first.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
As Sho, like, rather nice and full, heads outside, and as soon as he gets out, he like moves aside a bit and starts stretching. It's just like, need to work that out.
Walking is replaced with lunging.
Yeah.
I already did my stretches.
I'm vigilant, but like after something like that, whew, I need to just work that out a little bit to prevent the cramps.
I've not eaten too much, so I'm good.
So you head around. Riggingstead is nice and small enough that you're capable of actively just finding your way around without a problem. And soon you find the guard who spoke to you yesterday, who's still pretty bandaged up. He's got like a splint and a crutch, a splint on one arm and a crutch to support the weight on the other side. And he looks over to the four of you and says, well, hi there. How can I help you today? Thank you again for what you did yesterday. That's remarkably charitable of you guys.
Of course. We were just wondering, you mentioned Brixton last night.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, I
have
did.
intel on his location, or at least presumed location?
Well, I don't know exactly where he hides out. I don't think any of the guards do. But if you head west by southwest, that's usually the direction he operates in. It's a little ways off the road, but that's where we've spotted him most times.
That seems like the first place that we should go to. Sho is currently doing press-ups. Works up into a handstand, vertical press-ups.
That was yeah. So, are you guys sure you're gonna be okay?
Yeah. I think we are. And, yeah, I've not done it today, but I am going to make sure my blade is yeah, I'm going to make sure that my blade is ready to be used the way I tend to. And I can pretty stealthily do that, I suppose.
Yeah. So you kind of
You've used it enough.
yeah. You've got enough practice on with it. And as the group begins walking in the direction that they have been pointed to, off the beaten path and into the wilderness, that is where we will end the session for today.
Aww.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, they sound disappointed.
I want to go more.
I don't have work in the morning today, so...
I'm not going in college either.
My weekend, so we can keep it. Says it's okay.
Oh,
Oh,
please, DM, please.
Please. Sure, why not? Let's do that.
Extended edition.
Extended edition.
So
Into
before we
episode
actually
2.
reach the wilderness, Hikan grabs his water skin, puts it up to his lips, and takes an exaggeratingly long pull from it, and the familiar slight wobbliness returns to his step.
Show squints. It's like, that's not one.
That's not water.
Mhm.
Okay. So, you begin your journey down through the wilderness,
We're going west.
going west
By southwest.
West
by
by south.
southwest. I'd like you guys. So you guys get to around about here, if I can. But apparently, oh, is the grid enabled? The grid is enabled on the map. Why is the grid enabled on
I
this
don't
map?
even see anything.
It's like, zoom out. You'll be able to see that in Rigenstead there's like a blacked out. It's majoritively blacked out.
No, I literally see blackness, which is weird because I just got my Eldritch Invocation Devil's Sight.
Try
Just-
zooming out, because the
Yeah.
majority of the map is
Yeah,
black.
I did.
Okay, no worries. I think I know what's happened. There we go. Save
I know, I
changes.
Googled
Do you
it.
see things
Yes,
now?
I see
There you
things
go.
now.
Yay! That also tells me that that one of my core plans and mechanics has worked. Huzzah!
Ooh.
Right.
There we go.
Extended edition and beta testing. Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah. Let's see. So you get to about here. I'd say here, but it seems to be latching itself onto the tokens, which has never happened before. This must be an update. Let's see. If I can... Oh, there we go. Right. Just gonna Control, Alt, Shift, just make sure that's okay. Yep, it's just gonna be a bit of a dick like that, I think.
Is it snapping to a grid?
It's snapping to a grid that doesn't exist.
That's weird. But you can use Alt to...
Yeah.
I'm absent-mindedly... Okay, I have... Okay, no. Shut up. Sorry.
There we go. That's better. Yeah. So you head out to the west. Would folks like to make some survival checks in order to see if they can find any suitable tracks of some kind?
Question.
Yes.
We're following the "you are here" thing, right?
Yeah.
We're going east.
Oh, yeah, that's
Cease.
true.
Oh, yeah. Cease. That is not. That is.
That is why you
not
said
west.
West.
That is why I said west. There we go. That's the way. That side.
Oh.
That's better.
And that says like we're shit at direction.
Shit address.
And
There
there
we
was
go.
much rejoicing. Yeah.
Survival.
Having proficiency in survival, I keep rolling it really low.
Oh.
Yeah, Renji's thinking, everyone's dealing with this. This is not my area of expertise.
Okay. So Hikan, you can't see. It's hard to really concentrate on stuff as you're stumbling around. And it's still early in the morning. But Sho, you look around. And you definitely find evidence of banditry. There's definitely something out there that's really kind of easy to track hold of, and you manage to find evidence of a recent bandit attack. And as you're moving forward, you find the remnants of what appears to be a caravan. Something that's been like a four-wheeled cart has been overturned and badly damaged. There are various bits of debris strewn everywhere. No sign of a horse, no sign of a person. It's just... but it's clear that this thing was attacked, and it's not old and rotted enough to believe that it was done too long ago.
Are there any trails of like blood or like noticeable footsteps, scratch marks?
Make an investigation check. Everyone who is there, if you want to.
All right. I wish to specifically see if the astrolabe that Avalon and Miles mentioned is still here, or if it's like if there's any trace of it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I got a nat
7 for
20.
me.
So Hikan with your 17 and Sho with your natural 20. You have a look around. You definitely believe that this must have been the cart that was used by Avalon and Miles and Samson in regards to their research. There's papers strewn everywhere, all of which have some kind of calculations or notes or basic cartography scribblings. There are other bits and pieces of scholarly information as opposed to exploring or trading. Renji, you look through a lot of things. Sometimes you look through things twice, but sadly with the 7, you don't seem to be able to find any evidence of a golden astrolabe anywhere.
Well, disappointed in lack of results, I will start and collect all of the scraps of notes and other papers to at least collate them for a bit.
Okay. So you pick a lot of these notes up. They seem fairly well written. And you manage to get a good amount of them before you seem to be carrying too many in order to really make use of them.
Well, it's not so much make use of them because
it's too many to carry anymore.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the cart? Like, is the cart upended?
Yes.
Yes. Then I would want to place them on the side of the cart so that they at least have something to lay on and use a nearby rock to act as a paperweight.
Okay.
Because if we can get this back to Avalon and Miles, that would probably do at least some good to their mission.
Okay. Very well. You put them in a nice, neat, organized pile and weigh them beneath a rock. So they're clearly visible, and you test it just to make sure that there's no way that they could be thrown away or anything, and it seems okay. It seems perfectly fine.
I think that's all that's here then. We should probably keep going.
Where, like, with my role, where are the tracks leading?
There are a series of tracks, but the vast majority of them appear to be heading southwards. Towards those woods that you were in previously.
Right. Just before any of them would suggest to follow those tracks, I will use prestidigitation to at least see if these rocks are steady enough.
Okay. You use prestidigitation.
Create a bit of wind.
Yeah. A gust of wind washes over it. The rock definitely seems heavy enough to keep the papers down, as so long as there isn't like a gale going through.
Good enough for now.
I believe I have a bead on them. Come.
Good.
Okay.
Everyone ready? Sho, Hikan.
Sho's already leading. Sho's leading the charge.
Is Tyrina here?
Yeah, Tyrina's there. She's
Good.
fine.
We're just quiet today.
Yeah. It's very quiet. Just
Wearing down because we ate a lot. Breakfast.
Yeah. Tyrina follows you guys as you move to the south. As you get to the edge of the woods, as you get to the edge of all this stuff, I'd like folks to make another survival check as once again it moves from plains to woods, and the ground becomes harder to track through.
Now I got an 8 on survival.
All right. In that case, since we are moving in different terrain, I will also attempt to do the impossible.
Okay.
And that's a 15 for me.
Yeah. So with a 15, Renji, you managed to keep an eye on the tracks, though it has become a little harder. Hikan, now that you see these tracks and you see how they move and what directions they go in, you're capable of keeping like a really focused eye on where they're going, and you maneuver between the trees rather expertly, going through each and every furrow just to make sure, because that's what you get with the 24. So you keep traveling for about another hour. Gets slightly closer. The sun rises over and gets slightly closer to midday. And through the trees, up top a hill, appears to be what looks like an old kind of keep or fort. It's small in size, and it definitely seems aged, but it definitely looks like a brick and stone and mortar fort with 4 walls on either side. The track seemed to be heading towards it.
Okay, so are there any people like up on the walls of the?
Make a perception check.
21.
10.
With your 21, you spy no one wandering along the walls. There appears to be a single entrance with a large gate. It seems to be 20 foot wide, made of solid wood. But there doesn't appear to be any evidence of of people walking the walls and patrolling it.
So what's the front gate look like? Is it just standard portcullis?
It's a large wooden gate, a large swinging wooden gate. It doesn't lower from top to bottom. It moves as if it's just a large door. It certainly looks like
one of
it's
the
seen better
rocks,
days.
like the or other. What's the brickwork like? Is it loose enough to climb?
Looking at it, it looks like it might be climbable, but it would be remarkably difficult.
How tall is the wall?
By your estimate, it's around about 20 foot tall.
I don't know about you, but I can't climb that.
I might be able to. Joe's gonna walk up to the wall, like palm around a bit, see if he can like visualize that there might be like a way up. If I can get through, because we're not exactly. It wouldn't be ideal to just go through the front door.
Make a perception check while you're at the wall.
Okay.
Hikan would join him, because I have the same idea.
It's easy enough. As the two of you get there, you hear a lot of chatter on the other side of the wall, like kind of raucous laughter and shouting, from a lot of voices.
What is Tyrina doing?
She's kind of examining it. She's looking at the actual fort and then looking around to see if there's you follow her gaze. She's looking around as if to try and see if there's anything else within the clearing that this fort is in.
I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to be left behind. I'm going to stick with Hikan.
Okay. As you walk away, Tyrina will silently join you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try my best at scaling this.
Okay, make an athletics check. Nice. You got 20. So you secure some footholds and you kind of reassure yourself with each different thing. You slowly, meticulously clamber up the wall. And actually, since we're on the above ground version, I'm going to pull you guys onto the actual map so that you can see it.
Your ping's going nuts, buddy.
Sorry.
Yep.
But yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah.
You did say it was raining.
Yeah. So, how far did I get when everybody cut out? Or when I cut out?
You're still cutting out.
Am I?
Yeah.
Somehow, what? Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Perhaps it wasn't a good idea to extend this then.
He did succeed in climbing the wall. He found some footholds, and I think you're going to throw up the map.
Yeah.
That is what we know, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I thought I was the only one that had the bad ping.
Oh, no. I have notoriously bad internet, sadly.
That's part of the reason why I left and rejoined, was because it wasn't just him cutting out.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. So that's the map that we're on. So I'm going to reveal some areas here. There we go. So as you clamber up to the top, Sho, you see a courtyard. There's a singular building. And it's fairly small compared to the rest of the place. But its courtyard is populated with tents, and a numerous amount of bandits are populating this area in particular. As you can see, you count 9 bandits, or nine individuals who are dressed in a similar fashion to the men that you were dealing with previously.
Right. Okay, so Sho is going to quietly move, and look back down at the at his retinue, and it's because they're being loud enough that if I was speaking to them, they wouldn't really hear, right?
Yeah,
As long as I'm not shouting.
Yeah.
He motions them to come a bit closer, and it's just try the door. I'll give you cover and fire from above.
And goes to the door.
Okay. Tyrina will follow you closely to back you up.
And he quietly, slowly creaks it open.
Okay. You push against the door, and it resists you. Sho, you can see from this side that there is a bar going across it to keep it closed.
Not a huge one, right? Enough. I could just hop down and right.
Yeah.
Or with Sho still being up there, could he Sho? Do you have a rope or anything?
Does anyone have a rope?
I do. I have rope.
Okay.
So Sho's gonna go over to them, and he's gonna set it down, and he's going to tie it round. He's going to tie the top end around one of the partitions, so hopefully people can pull their way up.
Yeah, I was thinking that with us having a rope now, that might give us a bit of a bonus. And Sho could also help us up when we get up a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That would be an athletics check.
Athletics check with advantage since you're using a rope.
Okay. Right. Okay. 16.
Yeah. Okay, with that you're able to slowly, cautiously clamber up.
I help you, of course. When you get high enough, I reach my hand out.
You join Sho on the battlements.
Yes, I will
make
my way next to him.
You can't turn in a hurry.
My hand from Tyrina to the rope.
She does like a mock curtsy. Well, thank you, sir. And goes over to the rope and attempts to clamber up. Let's see how she does with her athletics. She got a 13, which is enough. It's a bit. She slips slightly, but it's much heavier than the others.
Yeah.
But
when she gets high enough, both being and Renji, of course, like grab her and heft her up.
She kind of clink, and then maneuvers back around.
Okay, so what I'd like to imagine is that you're not doing it very well. So, like, as you're struggling to climb while holding onto the rope, just hold on as tight as you can. Me, Renji, and Tyrina all grab the rope and pull him up. Just.
Yeah. So with an 8, climbing under your own power is a lot more difficult than expected.
I guess I didn't stretch enough after breakfast.
Yeah. You get a cramp in your side. It's like, cramp.
Quiet, please. Quiet up.
Shh. Sho, like, full-on ham fist grabs the rope, starts pulling up all he can to try and...
Okay. I'd like you guys to make... those who are pulling would make strength check. Oh, athletics. This is a similar thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to help.
Alright, fine.
With Tyrina and Sho, I'm not the greatest.
Whoa,
Someone sounds a bit buzzy.
That's Alvarance.
Yeah.
There you go.
Buddy,
Yeah.
your microphone's like turned into a helicopter.
Just a second.
Okay.
There we go.
Just a second.
Seems
There we
better.
go. No, it's
Okay,
back.
now it's
Yeah.
Hello?
And
And still,
Still doing it.
Still doing it. Yeah.
there's some interference.
There. It's I think the connector between your microphone and your computer might have gotten a bit
Hinky.
hazy. Yeah. But yeah.
There
Okay.
yeah, sweet.
Excellent. So yeah, with Tyrina's help, you managed to just.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Did it? Oh, god damn it. Alright.
With Tyrina's help, you managed to pull yourself up onto the battlements, and now all four of you are overlooking this particular area. And with that, I think, technical issues included, I think what we will do is we'll call it a session there, and then we can get that sorted for the next time. But yeah, excellent.
Ready for combat.
Yep. So thank you very much for joining me and the continued adventures of the Sheikah lads on tour. Joining me today is SteveTheSeregios as Sho Daius.
Thank you for listening.
We also have TheNetherlad as Renji.
Thank you for listening.
And we also have Alvarance as Hikan Shio.
Hello. Thank you for listening.
Excellent. And I have been ArticulateT, the fumbling GM, and I will see you guys, or talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
And so it is that we come to the end of our second episode in Hyrule Chronicles. Thank you very much for listening. I know that we had a couple of technical difficulties this time around. Long story short, my internet is not that great, and we did have a couple of problems with Alvarance's microphone, but we're working on that one to make sure it's resolved for the next time. But yeah, otherwise, if you enjoyed what you listened to, make sure to leave a comment on the SoundCloud or anywhere that you might find this link to the SoundCloud posted, and if you want to do anything with that, send me a tweet at ArticulateT on Twitter. Yes, but anyway, thank you again for listening, and we'll hope to see you for episode 3. Take care now, bye bye.